cold sweat running down your neck. You hear your name spoken with impossible clarity, a voice that cuts through the silence like a sharpened knife. You turn immediately, your heart racing. The hallway is empty. The house remains in absolute silence, that dense silence you can almost touch, but you heard it. You know it with absolute certainty. Your mind desperately searches for a rational explanation. Accumulated stress, extreme fatigue, old wood creaking as it expands, wind seeping through some forgotten crack. However, deep in your chest, in that place where truth always resonates, you know what has really just happened. Something has just crossed the invisible boundary between its world and yours. Padre Pio of Pietrelcina lived with that boundary erased for more than 50 years of his earthly life. He saw what you cannot see with your carnal eyes. He heard what modern science simply calls hallucinations or auditory disorders. And he left a warning so urgent, so profound, that ignoring it can cost you more than your nightly sleep. It can rob you of the peace of your home, affect your family in ways you cannot imagine, even shatter your sanity in these confusing and dark times. There are 3 fundamental reasons why you hear your name when there is absolutely no one present in physical space. One is a precious gift from heaven, another is a desperate cry from purgatory, and the third is a meticulously designed trap that will close around you at the precise instant you respond without discernment. Padre Pio fought against real demons in his humble cell in San Giovanni Rotondo. They beat him physically during the night. They screamed horrible obscenities in his ear, trying to make him fall. They imitated with chilling precision the voices of his fellow religious brothers to lure him into conversation and break his spiritual guard. He learned the complex rules of invisible warfare the hardest way possible, through suffering and direct experience. And he wrote them down carefully for you, for this exact moment in history. If you wake up at exactly 3 in the morning, hearing your name spoken clearly, it is not chance or coincidence. If you turn suddenly in the kitchen, expecting to see your child or your spouse, and find the room completely empty, it is not simply imagination or fatigue. The veil between the visible and invisible worlds is thinner than ever in this era. You urgently need to learn to correctly interpret what crosses that fragile barrier. In the next few minutes of reading, you will know exactly how to distinguish between an authentic messenger from heaven and a diabolic counterfeit from hell. You will understand profoundly why Padre Pio warned insistently never to respond immediately to certain mysterious voices. And you will learn a protocol so simple and effective that even a child can use it to seal their home against invisible and dangerous intrusions. But you must remain completely attentive during this reading. This is not spiritual entertainment or morbid curiosity. This is vital survival information for an entire generation that has completely forgotten how to defend itself against attacks from the enemy. If you have ever heard your name without anyone physically being there, write right now in the comments these powerful words: "Lord, awaken my sleeping soul." I am going to pray personally for each name that appears in this section. Let us begin by understanding the precise anatomy of the supernatural call. When you hear your name in the midst of absolute silence, your physical body reacts automatically before your conscious mind processes the information. Your shoulders tense involuntarily. Your breathing stops abruptly. Sometimes there is a strange flutter in your chest or a deep chill that runs down your entire back like an electric current. Padre Pio said wisely, "That immediate physical reaction is the first crucial clue. Your body is a highly sensitive spiritual receiver. It perceives subtle frequencies before your rational mind identifies or categorizes them. You must carefully observe what you feel in the 2 seconds immediately following the mysterious call. That is the diagnostic margin that will determine your correct response. Did your chest gradually relax? Did a strange and deep calm arrive despite the initial fright? That is a positive sign from heaven. Or did your stomach close with anguish instead? Did the surrounding air become heavy and dense? Did you feel inexplicable urges to flee immediately? That is something completely different and dangerous. The subtle difference between those bodily reactions is literally the difference between an angel sent by God and a cunning demon testing your spiritual limits to find vulnerabilities." Padre Pio did not soften the reality of this invisible war. He knew from direct experience that the enemy is absolutely real, organized with hierarchies, and extremely patient in his strategies. The demon does not appear stupidly with red horns and a pitchfork. He presents himself subtly with the identical voice of your deceased mother, your husband, your childhood best friend. That is the diabolical imitation, the deadly trap designed specifically for you. The enemy cannot create anything original, only imperfectly copy what God has made. He listens carefully to the real voices in your home for days, memorizes specific tones with precision, particular cadences, characteristic expressions of affection. Then he reproduces them exactly when you are completely alone, exhausted, half asleep, and vulnerable. Padre Pio frequently heard his religious superior calling him insistently at night. He would begin to walk obediently toward the voice and suddenly stop dead. Something internal did not fit correctly. He would immediately make the sign of the cross with authority, and the voice would disappear instantly like vapor in the sun. He learned over time to trust more deeply in the internal spiritual sensation than in the external physical sound. You too must urgently develop that capacity for discernment. Before explaining in detail the 3 main reasons, you urgently need an effective spiritual weapon. The Holy Rosary. Not one prayed distractedly while watching television, but with total concentrated attention, with real and living faith in each mystery. That rosary prayed correctly literally bends the invisible world toward the perfect will of heaven. If your house feels inexplicably heavy, if your small children wake up screaming in fear for no apparent reason, you do not need to wait to call a busy priest. You immediately need to become yourself, the spiritual priest of your own walls, the guardian of your home. That is why the resource, the power of the Rosary, with Padre Pio exists. It is the exact way he prayed it to close spiritual doors. You can obtain it at the pinned link. Now let us go directly to the first fundamental reason you must understand. Are you still mentally insisting that it was simply the old house creaking from temperature changes? Or are you finally ready to humbly accept that something real and invisible called you with purpose? Good, because stubbornly denying this spiritual reality is a dangerous luxury you cannot afford in these dark times. The first reason is simultaneously the most beautiful and the most completely ignored. Your personal guardian angel, desperately trying to communicate with you in the only way he can at this moment. Padre Pio lived in constant and conscious dialogue with the holy angels, He saw them clearly as powerful soldiers, swift messengers, loyal and unconditional friends. He frequently said, "If you need me urgently, and I am physically far away, send me your guardian angel. He will arrive instantaneously before any letter or modern message." Angels are not simply passive observers recording your actions. They actively intervene in your life. They redirect dangerous situations. When something truly dangerous is rapidly approaching your life, they will do absolutely whatever is necessary to powerfully call your attention before disaster strikes. Sometimes that means literally speaking your name aloud. How do you know with certainty that it is really your guardian angel? After the inevitable initial fright, the room feels noticeably lighter and brighter. You breathe significantly better. A deep and inexplicable peace covers you completely, like a protective mantle. You do not feel pursued or harassed, but genuinely protected and loved. That is the unmistakable frequency of authentic heaven. It does not agitate your spirit with anxiety. It stabilizes your entire being with supernatural peace. Padre Pio taught that even an urgent angelic warning simultaneously brings deep peace because it comes under perfect divine authority, not under diabolic manipulation. A documented example: a man in Ohio clearly heard his name while cooking routinely. He turned around confused, nothing visible. But he immediately felt supernatural calm. Then he faintly perceived the smell of natural gas. A burner was dangerously open without a flame. If he had gone to sleep normally that night, he would never have woken up. Simple statistical coincidence, or direct angelic intervention saving a life? Your guardian angel perfectly sees what is coming toward you. He sees the car that will run the red light. He sees the destructive message that will ruin an important relationship. He sees the specific temptation that will arrive in a few hours. When you clearly hear your name and immediate peace arrives, stop completely. Give humble thanks. Observe carefully around you. Is something out of place? An important decision to reconsider? A hidden danger? Padre Pio patiently taught to recognize your angel as a wise and protective older brother. Simple protocol: reverently make the sign of the cross. Say with authority the powerful name of Jesus. Pray a complete Hail Mary in sincere gratitude. If you learn to recognize his characteristic voice, you will automatically stop falling for cheap imitations. The false ones can never perfectly imitate authentic, deep peace. Now, the second important reason you must know. Padre Pio saw more dead than living walking in his monastery. He said that the dead have not gone anywhere distant. They are precisely on the other side of an extremely thin, invisible door. The second reason is a suffering soul from purgatory, desperately asking for spiritual help. Someone who died without enough intercessory prayers. Someone completely forgotten by busy relatives. They actively seek people with visible spiritual light who can help them. How do you recognize this specifically? You hear your name, and immediately a heavy and inexplicable sadness falls. Not paralyzing terror, but deep sadness. A profound existential weariness. Urges to cry for no apparent reason. It is not your personal emotion. It is theirs filtering through the veil. Padre Pio saw souls appear at the foot of his bed. He asked them directly what they needed. He prayed faithfully for them, and they disappeared, visibly relieved. He said they suffer intensely, because now they see absolutely everything with clarity. The precious time wasted, the love foolishly rejected, the lost opportunities. They urgently need your powerful prayers. Clear instruction. Immediately bless the space. Pray a complete decade of the Rosary, or an Our Father and 3 Hail Marys with clear intention. Then generously offer the suffering of your next day for them. Frustrating traffic, physical pain, work stress, all of that has incalculable spiritual value. Padre Pio said that a small, sincere offering can liberate a soul trapped for entire decades. You will know it worked because the heaviness will disappear completely. Sometimes there is an inexplicable aroma of fresh flowers. Do not fear this. It is a sacred honor to help. But critical attention. Not all sadness comes from holy souls. Some are diabolically fabricated. And that brings us to the third reason. The most dangerous of all. The enemy deliberately calls you with the voice of someone you love. He records voices. He waits patiently until you are completely alone. He plays them back to open you spiritually. The moment you respond without discernment, you give him spiritual permission. Not legal permission, spiritual permission. This is exactly how it works. Clear signs, oppression in the chest, internal cold, inexplicable rage, urges to flee. Padre Pio said, when that combination appears, never respond. Make the sign of the cross. Say with authority, in the name of Jesus Christ, go away. He said the name 3 times. It always worked, but the enemy returns. He changes strategy. That is why you must create a habit of rejection. If you feel weight reading this, it is not coincidence. It is confirmation. Clear rule. If it brings panic, cold, rage, then do not respond. Padre Pio was relentless, because making a mistake costs dearly. Now the armor. Place a crucifix behind your door. Not decorative. Real. Bless it yourself. Each night ask your angel to seal your room. Pray the rosary with intention. Walk through your house praying it aloud. Do not go to bed angry. Resentment is an open door. Forgive aloud. Padre Pio lived in a spiritual war zone. He survived because he never relaxed. You have the same weapons. Have you heard your name? Have you felt weight or cold? Right now, I seal my house with light. I am going to pray for you. You are not crazy. You are not alone. You are not defenseless. Padre Pio left the manual. If you follow it, your home will be a fortress. May Padre Pio bless you. May your angel cover you. May the rosary be your weapon. Go in peace, but remain vigilant.